So how was your July 4th?
Low key.
Yeah?
Yeah, we didn't do much. We were thinking about doing a day trip to Leavenworth, which is about 2.5 hour drive. And then looked it up and that's gonna be really busy.
I
I don't
bet.
want to deal with that. So we just stayed around. My daughter's been playing in the sun outside with her friends, our neighbors, like water balloon, splash pad,
Oh,
all that stuff.
nice. Okay. Yeah, same thing. We went and watched fireworks, but not at the actual events. A high spot. I'm hesitant to even call it a hill. I guess it's called a hill. It's a hill here, but
A
relatively
nub.
high spot in our area where you can see the fireworks from a couple of points around the city. So we did that, but my son really didn't pay attention to the fireworks. He was more interested in all the cars and people.
You did say you liked cars, right?
Yeah, so it's like blue car, blue truck.
Mhm.
There's like a snow cone camper thing, and he's like looking at that people, and he basically ignored the fireworks. But we enjoyed the fireworks. It was kind of nice. And then we met up with some friends for the after day brunch, I guess is what you call it.
After a day.
Day after is what I was looking for. So that was nice. That's pretty
Yeah.
much my long weekend.
Nice. I also watched binge Squid Games
This is
third
Squid Games
season.
3.
Are you a Squid Games watcher?
I still haven't finished Squid Games 2. There's a 3 already, really?
Yeah, third season came out, the final season, like 2 weeks ago. So I binge
Really?
watched it. It was good.
Wow.
I
I
mean,
thought season 2
it,
just came out, didn't it?
yeah, season 2 came out last year, I think. So it was a pretty quick, release, but it was a continuation, right, of the story, I guess. So
Oh,
maybe they
was it?
filmed it
Oh.
all at time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no wonder I've been seeing people talk about Squid Games. It's like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Well, and
Season
then
3, that was quick.
the big reveal, I guess, is there's going to be a Squid Games USA. So now there's going to be a bunch of spin-offs
Mm.
and they're making a Squid Games US where it takes place, I guess, in the US.
Oh,
And
really?
I don't know why they need to do that, but
Yeah,
got some
because
heavy hitters.
that's kind of weird because it's like it was focused more on, yeah, I guess so. I don't know, I kind of lost interest halfway through season 2 because it's kind of like a rehash. But I get it, story continues, he's trying to whatever, but it just like I kind of lost interest to be honest. So
A lot of people did. I think between all the seasons, it just declined each season in terms of viewership and
yeah,
ratings.
yeah,
But no, I finished it. I thought it was still good to me.
still good. Okay, maybe I'll get to it eventually. I'm still in K-drama mode. All right, we're back to episode 69. A bit of a short week, well, because since the fourth actually landed on Friday, so everybody took a long weekend. So what happened though? Well, a lot of big things happened. The BBB, depending on how you interpret that acronym, bill was officially passed, and then on July 4th, Elon announced his resentment of that getting passed with his new potential political party. I mean, he said he's going to do it, but there's no proof in the pudding, so to speak. And one of the things that happened, Robinhood had a big event announcement of some new products and features that they were launching, and that sent the stock to all-time highs above 100 briefly. And so we'll talk a little bit about that because we haven't talked about crypto in a while. So there we go.
Everything reached, well, not everything. A lot of
A
things
lot of
reached all-time
things.
highs this week.
So ridiculous. I say so ridiculous because I'm probably one of the only people who's like most like a large portion of cash on the sidelines. So, but anyways,
It's good though. I mean, like we said last week, there will be a pullback.
there will be a
That
pullback.
is your time to pounce.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I did see news today, this morning. I was scrolling through and seeing new Besant was so two things, right? About that is so the deadline for tariffs is coming up. Trump
Hmm.
has said no extensions on July 9th, I think it was, is the first deadline. He said, nope, not thinking about extensions, but as we know, don't know if that's going to
He will
hold.
probably extend.
And then Besant was like, yeah, if countries still don't have a deal by like August, like 1st or 2nd, the beginning of August, then tariff levels for them will go back to the original Liberation Day levels.
So like the 50%,
Yeah,
the
the insane 100% tariff or
yeah.
whatever people. So I'm like, what are they? Again, strategy of strategic ambiguity, which basically means like we just throw stuff out there and make people nervous, I guess. But anyways, so we
I'm
have a new
curious what
now.
the scorecard is because I know there have been deals made. I heard like Vietnam, there's a deal with Vietnam.
That's Vietnam
We
too.
get 0% tariffs for things we send them, but anything they send us, we tariff
It's
like
it's they
20%.
get 0% tariffs, right? Vietnam has 0% tariffs, and we have 20% tariffs.
Of Vietnam imports.
Yeah, imports from Vietnam,
Yeah.
yes. Which is it's 20%. It's worse than 10%. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on. I'd rather have the flat tax.
Yeah.
But anyways, so that was bad for all the footwear providers.
See,
Spiked heavily on the original announcement.
so here the thing is like people are betting on him extending, I think. That's why the market's going up.
Yeah,
But if he doesn't extend, then the markets will crash a bit.
yeah,
I mean, it can go either way. What I've seen in this market is people go is like things happening against the bet.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but this is
What
not
can
financial advice.
what confuses me is it's basically a lower, higher, high situation when the news is really tariffs are coming, irrespective of if they're delayed or not. You know what I mean? But the market's
Mhm.
pricing it in as a zero thing, like as if tariff weren't here.
Yeah.
And so that's what I can't. My mind tells me it doesn't make sense, but my gut says just buy calls because it's gonna go up for some. Anyway, so what does that have to do with Elon? Give it to me.
Sorry, I was looking up.
I'll let you speak about Elon since you're a Tesla person.
I was looking up the extent. Like, when is the tariff date?
July 9th. It's like this week.
Oh, it's Monday,
Like midweek, Wednesday maybe.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Wednesday. We'll see.
See.
But yeah, Elon. So where does that lead us to Elon Musk? I mean, I guess I could speak about Elon. So, like you said, and like we all know, he is pretty upset with the big beautiful bill because ultimately the big beautiful bill is going to add, what is it, like 2 to 3 trillion in
I hear it's like 5 trillion. The most recent headlines are, yeah, it's like 5 trillion to the national debt. Like this final version
trillions
of it.
more to the national
Yeah.
debt, to which we are already trillions in debt. So that is the American way, right? Take on debt. And so it was passed, as everyone knows, and we're not going to speak too much about the bill. It's controversial, but it's Trump's biggest win of his presidency. But Elon Musk is one of those people that are against it because, as you know, he was in charge of Doge, which was supposed to cut spending. But by Trump bringing this bill in, I guess, signing this bill, which adds debt, if you think about that, and basically Elon's job was for nothing. It's just all for show. So yeah, Elon is heavily against it. It also, another reason is it removes a lot of green energy subsidies.
Yeah, basically, as
Yeah,
far as I interpret, it's basically destroying that entire sector of energy. It really
yeah,
is. It's insane. I was reading some of the details. I was like, okay, I guess we are letting China lead the world in like alternative green energy. It's crazy.
yeah. And so the one that you as a consumer or listener probably know most of is the EV tax credit. So a lot of states, when you buy an electric vehicle, you can get a tax credit of about, I think at one point it was 7,500. I know when I bought my Tesla, I got like 3,500 in terms of tax credit. So that's actually money that the government is providing for you to incentivize you to buy an electric vehicle. Well, if that's going on, more people are going to buy electric vehicles, and you can understand why that helps Tesla because it incentivizes people to buy Teslas. So now that that's being, wiped, that's going to affect Tesla's bottom line. But there's a number of reasons, and so yes, Elon came back by announcing on July 4th that he's going to start his own party called the American Party. There's a bunch of tweets that he had been posting on how this bill will bankrupt the country, et cetera, et cetera. And let's see, what does it say? There's a tweet that said the American Party could soak up a lot of the existing Democrats' base that feel politically homeless and hate extremism. And he had responded 100%. So I think what this ends up coming is like he's trying to create a party that takes the Republicans who are angry, takes the Democrats who aren't, you know, there's extreme left Democrats and there's just like moderate Democrats. Take them and start up a new party.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting move. Like one of the tweets, and I've seen an article, he kind of like re references Ross Perot back in the day, right? And so that's kind of where it feels like he's kind of heading. It's kind of like that Ross Perot route. But
Yeah.
then I've read arguments or commentary of like, who is this really going to impact, right? Is it Democrats or Republicans? And I feel like at this point in time, it actually might hurt the Democrats more than it would the Republicans because
I'd
there's
agree.
just the MAGA is just so ingrained at this point that everything is like there's always an excuse of why it's okay. And so they don't, it's basically just
Yeah.
don't see them going to Elon's side at this point, right? Just because the mentality is just different.
If I were to guess what's going on is behind the scenes, there's probably all these politicians like telling Elon, oh, blah, 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 we got your back. And then when
Yeah,
it comes down to signing online, right, choosing a side,
yeah,
they'll do the political thing and turn their backs.
yeah. Which I think we've seen, like Elon is very much about people having his back, or not having his back, that's not the right word. It's like people being, what is it called? There was something in it. I saw an article he tweeted. It's more about like I asked you to do a favor, right? He expects you to do a favor if you're really like friends or whatnot, right? And if you don't,
Integrity.
integrity, yeah, he finds it really an affront for people who like don't help him out, um, when he's helped them out, etc. So, anyways, but yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. I don't know if this next election cycle if he'll be able to do much, because I've also seen other commentary where because of the way the bill was structured and all the caveats were put in, it was actually done for a reason, and that reason is because they're pushing the effects of it past the midterms and basically the next election. So people won't really understand that the benefits they're seeing aren't really going to be there after the election.
Yeah.
Like let's for instance, like the tax credit, no taxes on tips, right? Or they expire in like 3 years, which is very strategic, right? Because if you think the midterms are next in a year and a half, right? But if people don't feel it, then they're like, oh, what are you talking about? I'm getting my tax reductions the past year or two, right? And they don't really understand, which I think we've seen on the MAGA side, where they don't understand the long-term impacts of things. But those credits, everything for the people that Trump has stated, all expire. The
Hmm.
only things that don't expire are all the benefits for the wealthy, which is interesting. And they all expire in 3 years. right?
Yeah.
And so okay, people are expecting this blue wave at the midterms and then the next election, but I'm like, the Republicans have got this gamed out, right? They know their base and they know how to manipulate, and so it's like I don't actually at this point I don't expect there to be a blue wave. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. I think I would love to see another party come in and be prominent. Quite honestly, like after the whole Biden stuff, and I've reflected lately, and I'm like, am I becoming more of a independent?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they're both getting out of hand.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, as you know, as long as Tesla stock price holds up, you know, he'll have the fun and the wealth to do it. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, it's interesting.
it is. Elon is a world without Elon would be interesting.
Yeah,
It'd be kind of boring.
because Elon has way more money than Ross Perot, and he
Yeah.
definitely has more influence. So, you know, maybe he'll actually be able to, you know,
Yeah.
successfully
Depends
pursue
who
the
joins him,
party.
right? Because you could get people to join him with money as well.
Yeah. Ah,
Chimoth.
and Elon followed Andrew Wang. That
Okay.
means anything to anybody.
Imagine Andrew Yang and Vivek
Yeah.
joining a.
The Vivek guy, he kind of like disappeared after all that hoopla he started.
Yeah.
Funny. Anyways.
All right.
Anyways.
Well, this one's gonna be interesting. Political world has always been a chaotic show to watch,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because it hurts us here in the
Yeah.
lowly
Yeah.
middle class.
Yeah. I mean, it'll take a few years to actually have any influence or impact, but we'll see. Elon has the funds to try and do something, but we'll see how long he sticks with it, I guess, right? All
Yeah.
right. Yes, there we go. On to crypto. More
On the
interesting
crypto.
topics to talk about. So Robinhood had one of their big events to talk about new products and features. The biggest one they have, which is kind of interesting because it's only available to the EU market and not the US market at this point. Tokenization of stocks to allow people to buy a tokenized version of a stock. So, for example, things that aren't publicly traded at this point, like SpaceX or OpenAI, you'd be able to buy this token that kind of represents the value of that company in secondary markets. And yeah, so that was the news that basically sent it to all-time highs. It's pulled back, but anyways, all-time highs. And I guess it's off the back of like the news over the past couple of weeks of the US looking at stable coins, right, et cetera. And so this just seems to be cherry on top. But then OpenAI comes out with a tweet that basically says they've not partnered with Robinhood in any shape or form. This thing that Robinhood is offering is not an actual share in the company. Proceed with caution if you buy into this thing. And so that created kind of a market reaction of looking at what exactly is this thing we're doing. So, anyways,
How does it so tokenized stock? So let's say there's a tokenized stock of SpaceX.
yeah,
Does it follow the valuation of SpaceX,
something like
or
it.
is it
Well,
more just like supply and demand? Whoever wants to buy, like whatever the price buyers are willing to pay, just like
yeah,
stocks, is like
yeah.
what the price it is.
So that's where I feel like the details are light on how they're actually valuing these tokens. Supposedly, it's like Robinhood share in these companies, and so they're using that as the way to price the tokens, to set price for it, right? And then it's up
So
to
it's
the market to
backed
do,
by their shares.
yeah, it's backed by their shares or their certificates or whatnot. And then it's up to the market to decide what is the value of that to them,
Yeah.
right? And so I think that's where you'll start to see like a divergence of like, you know, let's say SpaceX is worth 100 billion, but people are going to FOMO, right, into these tokens and drive up the price. And it's not really tied. I mean, it's supposedly it's tied, it's backed by the real stake in it, but
Yeah.
because people were saying it's like a double derivative, right? So it's kind of sketch.
Hmm.
I guess we'll see how it plays out. It's only available in EU markets at this point too, so not the US. So that's
Yeah.
also a weird thing too. It's like, why just the EU? Well, because I think certain things aren't tradable in the EU, right? And so that's why they're doing it to get around some of those regulations. But
Well, do you think there are regulations in the US that prevent them from?
yeah, that's why I think they're avoiding it at the moment.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Well, I think crypto regulations in general and EU are a little bit more set, or it's a little bit more. Or in the US, it's always kind of been ambiguous by choice.
It makes sense now to me. I mean, I saw Kathy Woods and ARK buying into Robinhood several
Mhm.
weeks ago. It's like, she's buying Robinhood.
Should
Hit
have,
it again.
should have. It would have been up like 20, $30 in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy.
Robinhood's interesting. I mean, I was a big Robinhood user during the whole market craze during COVID. That's when Robinhood really kind of made its mark.
Yeah,
It also, had that lawsuit or whatever because of its dealings. What's that firm? Kappa? Wait, is it Citadel? But then I stopped using Robinhood because we all know that Robinhood makes it really easy for you to buy and
yeah,
sell, and you can make very rash decisions without much friction.
yeah,
I think that's the thing they perfected, right? As like a user experience aspect, there's no friction in Robinhood. It's really easy to buy, really easy to sell,
yeah,
and that can lead to trouble. And so
yeah,
that's why I stopped using it because I was actually getting into trouble with like bad decisions because
yeah,
it was so easy.
yeah.
But no, they've become like one of the leading trading platforms.
For the everyday
And
person is kind of how I view it.
hmm,
For like the everyday person,
for the everyday person,
like middle class and below, it's kind of like where I feel like
yeah,
they make,
it's
it kind of
it's
goes
so
with the
easy a
brand.
baby can do it.
Yeah, it kind of goes with the brand, but it doesn't mean it's like the most above board thing.
Yeah,
People argue
yeah.
that many ways. But yeah, so it's like, I guess I actually didn't know, but it looks like it's actually built on Arbitrum, which is on the Ethereum network. So that's another bull case for Ethereum for all the people who think Bitcoin is kind of like topped out. Tom Lee, follow Tom Lee.
I don't
Yeah,
follow him, but I do watch his clips on
yeah,
YouTube.
yeah, he's always on the news now. But anyway, so he has come out and prophesized that Ethereum's the next Bitcoin or the next chain. And I'm like, it's going. So that's when you know the Bitcoin is at the top now because Tom Lee is now pushing Ethereum. Uh,
I've always been a big believer in Ethereum.
it-
Well, from a crypto perspective, that's my biggest position is
is it
Ethereum.
really?
Hmm.
Yeah, Solana's my biggest one. Like Ethereum, I jumped out of Ethereum during the NFT craze because the gas fees were just ridiculous. Like I was trying to move NFTs between different wallets and it cost me more than NFTs cost. And I'm like, that's insane. And I did it right during NFTs. Even though I lost a ton of money. It helped me lose a lot more money though.
Solana's,
Yeah.
I'm also bull in Solana. I think Solana's my third.
Okay. Right.
But I mean, crypto in general, I feel this last year has only been a lot of good news for crypto in general. I'm still waiting to see like what is Trump going to do? Because when Trump came into presidency, the whole thing was it's good for crypto because he's an advocate for crypto, but he hasn't really done much in terms of
I,
like
I think he's done what he wanted to do, which is make money off of crypto, right? Which he's made billions off of it so far. So I think mission accomplished as far as what he wanted to do.
so you don't think he wants to do anything related to regulating it or making it more acceptable to the SEC?
I think that's his goal.
Hmm. I thought that's what he campaigned off of a little bit.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean, he'll eventually get there, but what I'm saying is like if it didn't work out, I think he'd be okay with it because he's already made
Yeah.
his billions off, right? So there's Trump and Melania coin is still able to milk that, right? His sons and their World Liberty Financial, right? They have been keep on talking about things they're doing there, and they've made their billions there. DJT has talked about their crypto things, right? Which is kept their stock afloat, and they've started to cash out of DJT. And so I feel like mission accomplished as far as what Trump has wanted to get out of crypto, which is
Mm-hmm.
to siphon out the money.
Okay.
And as far as where it goes from here, I don't really cares.
Okay.
That's the grift, right?
We
And
shall see.
I'm still in the thing where like I still feel like crypto is searching for a problem.
That's right. Now you're making me recall your
Yeah, right.
your crypto bear cases.
I still think it's a solution looking for a problem. I really do. Like even if you look at this Robinhood, this new thing about tokenizing stocks, I'm like, you're just creating stocks or you're just creating options. Like it's not a new idea. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how can we bring secondary markets to this? And there was, I forget, do you remember these startups back in the day where they'd buy stocks from employees who wanted to cash out and there was like this secondary market trading platform. I forget what they call it. Maybe they're still around. Right? So it's like not necessarily new. I don't necessarily think in
There's still secondary markets.
yeah, I mean it
The
doesn't
biggest one I know of, I think, is called Forge.
Forge, is that the
Yeah.
forget? There's this other one back in the day. It was like really hot.
But I mean, for those things though, you need to be an accredited investor.
Yeah.
This basically allows the everyday person to do it.
Yeah. But I mean like okay, so like this, for example, let's say I have 100 shares in Meta. Why don't I just create my own token and say it's backed by my 100 shares in Meta? You know what I mean? I
Sure.
could do actually instead of pump.fun, we should create stock.fun, right? And it's like anybody who has stocks in a company, you can create your own tokenization of that stock and trade it. Provide it, loan it out to people to based off of your holdings. You know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean. Just there's probably a lot of stuff to think about there, like liability wise.
Yeah, sure.
And what I'm saying is, there's no one preventing you from doing that.
Yeah. It's actually
Robinhood
not a
has
bad idea. Stock.fun.
Robinhood has the infrastructure, the
Yeah,
insurance,
yeah.
the cash in the bank to actually support it.
But
Yeah.
it's not insured because it's not a regulated secure. Well, I need
Well,
to go in and read what their terms are. Do they call it a security or do they call it like many of the Chinese companies who are listed on US stock exchanges? They're ADRs. They're not actually stocks in the company. It's just a certificate based off the profit they decide to share to this Cayman Islands company. And so what you're really buying when you're buying BABA, right, in the US on stock, you're not actually buying BABA, you're buying a certificate that gives you a percentage of their profits that
mhm.
they give to this Cayman Islands entity. A lot of people don't realize that most Chinese companies are structured that way in the US. And it's like, you guys don't own any. They could decide not to give anything to the ADR and just tank it. But the actual stock that's traded in China or in Hong Kong, it'll be just fine. You know what I mean? See, there's a lot of financials that go on.
Yeah.
Um, And I don't think Robinhood helps. It sounds cool and all, but kind
Yeah.
of like a meme coin is really what it reminds me of.
Which a lot of people are into, including yourself.
It's where the money is.
So I
That's
mean, with
where the
Robinhood,
money
it's
is
like
made.
where do they get the money, right? The
Yeah,
commissions.
yeah.
People like you, Tony, who want to buy these tokens.
Okay. I'm gonna call it now. I've checked. There's no stock.fun right now, but
All right.
we'll see if one pops up or not.
All right. So yeah, this is, I mean, Robinhood stuff, crypto in general. It's not going away. I can tell you that. Like, crypto's not going away. There's billions and probably trillions of dollars
Have you
invested into like crypto's infrastructure now.
have you
And
seen some of the recent news? So with Bitcoin literally pushing like all-time highs, right? People have started to notice a lot of dormant whale accounts
oh,
have
really?
started to come alive.
Yeah.
And so
Then
that's
all this
driving,
comes up.
yeah, but I mean, this is like on the order of like recently, what was it? Like several billion, like this one whale account, like from 14-ish years ago or whatever, it's like 10,000 Bitcoins has been moved.
Yeah. It's getting ready for a big pullback, like it always does.
So that's why I'm also curious. I wonder if coin has hit kind of like this top because now it's been so institutionalized. Like all the OG crypto folks are starting to get out. And so I kind of wonder what's the new thing that's coming. Like I feel like crypto is played out, Frank. Like there's so much institutional money flowing into it or trying to take it over. It's kind of lost its original like decentralized, not owned by, the people kind of financial
Yeah.
system. I feel like it's getting to the point where it's like there's so much institutional, like it's just another financial system owned by the rich. You know what I mean? Yes, there's these little, toys people play with, like the meme coins, etc. But it's like I'm starting to look at what's the next innovation outside of that's not crypto, not AI, of course, because that's just not
That's not
not the
crypto.
direction. It's like I'm looking for like something with kind of like the mentality of how crypto came about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like AI is something like the big companies are pushing, but like something that's the homegrown version of like what's next. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The
I don't
next
know.
movement. I'm looking for the next movement.
I'm still riding this current movement, which is the AI stuff. I do think those, like from a crypto aspect, I feel like stable coins is probably what's going to land soon.
But like it doesn't do anything. That's the thing.
I mean, it's
Like you can't profit off of it.
it's just like a high yield savings account.
Yeah,
If you
exactly,
hold
right? It's
you hold stable, yeah, exactly. So I think stable coins may just be it is and it is not groundbreaking, but it is a new form of, I guess, digital currency
Mhm.
that could replace money in the bank, for example.
Okay.
Which is why Circle went up 400% because they're building infrastructure around that, right?
Yeah, that's also Circles are crazy. Did we talk about this last time?
We
Last
did.
time?
But we're at 40 minutes now.
Crypto can always fill the void, so
But no, I think it's a lot of interesting, polarizing stuff this week with politics and with Robinhood. So yeah, we'll see how it plays
yeah,
out.
yeah. Everybody will be back after the long weekend, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
It'll
What's
be a big
next?
week.
What is the next catalyst or event that's we're waiting for? I guess the tariffs, right? On Wednesday.
Be the tariffs, and then
Q2
we are.
earnings starts to kick off.
I know, already back into earnings. So we will see what the new guidance is because companies have had a full quarter to kind of like
Yeah.
figure out how the impact of tariffs, and they've gotten some sense of what they will be like. But then again, who knows? They might punt it for another quarter because Besant's saying, well, we won't know till August now. We don't know if July will actually hold. So we'll see. Guidance will be interesting.
Yeah.
So we
All
might
right.
pump. We'll probably pump it until the first earnings start coming in. I think
Depends on what happens on Wednesday.
6,400 by the first big earnings is my prediction.
All right.
6,400.
You heard it here.
That gives the SPY's SPX another 200 points to go up in 3 weeks.
That's when I start offloading a bunch. Getting ready for the pullback.
Ready
All
divided.
right. All right. Well,
All right.
everyone has a good week. Please give us a like, subscribe.